I was listening. I think I read one of the statements of one of the representatives of the parties. There seemed to be real pressure on the appeal on the tribunal of the February 25 election in Imo State, especially for the House of Representatives and the Senate, pressuring. Judiciary has been described as the bastion of democracy, all right, the last hope of a common man. And then we've seen at some point in Nigeria where state executive council pressured judges because the tribunal held in their states pressured them into doing their bidding. So I'm not in any way accusing the Imo State governor, but I think it's something that NJSA should quickly look into, so that we don't have a repeat of what happened in some states, and people will start crying about intimidation and all of that. It negates the efforts that Nigerians have made in advancing democracy. So if I feel intimidated, if I feel that I'm not getting justice, whatever comes out of the play will mean nothing to me. And I won't give my all. I won't feel comfortable being governed by executives that are being showing some bias and intimidation around administration.
My worry in this narrative is the fact that Nigerians seem to be putting so much pressure on the judiciary, calling on a pick-up.
But it's not just a Nigerian thing.
Yes, the pressure is becoming too much because ordinarily they course out to operate without fear of failure. And that is why if you look at the emblem of the judiciary, it's a lady blindfolded with a scale and then a sword. A scale in one hand and a sword in one hand. That shows the impartiality. That shows that they are supposed to work without fear.
I remember a case.
They use the knife or the sword or whatever the scale falls.
I remember a case that Donald Trump had, one of the tax fraud, tax evasion cases. And then I was watching on international news network where some of the judges who stood for the case, woman, was properly swayed. I think that was done by a group of Americans who felt that as a judge, you should be incorruptible, you should be infallible in terms of corruption charges. So they beamed the spotlight on her, and then it was circulated on social media. That I'm guessing that would have put some pressure on the female judge. And so the pressure on judges and the judiciary is not just it's not an exclusive reserve of Nigeria. It is everywhere in the world. But the peculiarity here we have here in Nigeria is that we seem to have tilts towards anybody who's in power is in total control of whatever organ of government. So that has been a problem that we are facing in Nigeria. If I'm a governor, I'm in control of whatever arm of government within my jurisdiction. So that is where I think that's where we need to grow our democracy from, move away from that, and see how we can be truly independent. If the judiciary is independent, devoid of payment, if the judiciary is autonomous, truly autonomous, pays itself, we won't be having all of these issues.